Bull or bear? Let's see here. I got a 1921 Morgan dollar in AU condition, and she comes up a bear. Not so good. Good evening, and hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Excited to show you I just pulled up the lower key cam by accident. It's a cam I usually look at in the mornings, live cam down in the keys. And they put a night light in there. I'm like, wow, that's just awesome. It's kind of cool. Look, there's a snook up there. There's a Crevalle jack going by, and a bunch of mangrove snapper back here as well. Can't exactly tell how big they are, but they look decent size. But how cool is that after all these years? I think they just put this up too. Put a night light in there. I don't know if fish need a night light, but pretty cool. Cam right here, Lower Florida Keys underwater cam live stream. And oh my gosh, look, there's Mr. Crab going by. I should do nature videos instead. Fish videos. That's why they call me Fish Cam sometimes. But how cool is that, man? Lots of activity underwater in the evening as well. Is that a hog snapper or a snap? No, that's not a hog snapper. That's I forget what the ones with the line in their face like that are. Let's see if we can spot any other fish here real quick before I move along. Camera kind of surprised me. Like I said, I love my live cams here in Florida, and one of the cooler ones that I've seen. All right, well, here, we'll take a look at this another time. I thought I'd show you this. I thought it was pretty neat. Tonight's quote is, deception is one of the quickest ways to gain little things and lose big things. Think about how true this is in life, especially when it comes to economics and politics. They make these little gains, they make this little progress, but meanwhile, in the long run, they just make things worse, man. Isn't that absolutely true? Good quote by Thomas Sowell here. Most of you know him. He's a pretty famous economist that, he's kind of contrarian to what you hear from most of the idiots out there, and I don't consider him an idiot at all. Quite a brilliant fellow, in my opinion. Monkey hammer, talk about getting the monkey snot kicked out of it, or smacked out of it, slapped out of it, whatever you want to call it, monkey hammered out of it. That's exactly what we seen last week. Sorry about not getting a video up on Saturday. I did a video on Saturday. Tell me this isn't frustration. I did like a 45-minute video on my Sony cam. I actually did like a point of view video where I was showing you guys different coins and different products that I carry here and all kinds of cool stuff. And you got to actually see my hands in the video. I think about 45 minutes of that. The microphone wasn't working. After rendering the video and spending a couple hours doing that on Saturday, again, sorry I didn't get Friday's video, which has been coming out on Saturdays, so it's really not Friday's video, it's Saturday's video. Sorry I didn't get Saturday's video out because, like I said, after 45 minutes in the evening, we finally figured out that it was a problem with my microphone, not a problem with uploading. And there you go. Talk about wasted time. That's what I did exactly. But meanwhile, as I said, got the monkey snot, monkey hammered out of it. Gold 1868 currently, silver 2230, and platinum below that $1,000 mark. Don't say I'm not surprised. Remember, I've been talking about quite some time. This is not an organic market. This is a market that is manipulated by a bunch of big money out there, a bunch of big money that can take a small market like silver and move it around in the short term and the long term because they've been doing it for decades. And the same thing with gold, monkey hammer gold down like they did. These are big, powerful moneyed interests that knock these paper derivative prices down, that cause these prices to get as low as they are. And it's not an organic market, folks. It's not a true free marketplace. It's not a true supply and demand marketplace. It is simply a derivative marketplace, and probably in all likelihood oil, grain, all the other things out there that we have to deal with, we have to buy, are monkey hammered and manipulated by these big commercial banks as well in the criminal CrimeX markets. But here nor there, what does this do? This provides a great opportunity to buy these metals, again, on the cheap, as I've been saying. Was talking to a good customer of mine that's a seafood vendor, and explaining to him, he was saying, well, should I sell my gold and silver? I was saying, no, you really, I was trying to explain to him the equivalent, why silver has been down, especially silver, why silver is as low as it is. And I use my lobster analogy. I was explaining to him, listen, because he's a seafood salesman. Say, for example, someone could go out there and they could artificially manipulate the price of lobster down to like $1 a pound. And he knows that lobster is way more than $1 a pound in the wholesale markets and the retail markets. So I kind of had his attention. I said, imagine some company could come out and do that with lobster. They could keep lobster at $1 a pound and artificially keep that price down low like that. I said, what do you think would eventually happen to the price of lobster? Because he said the same thing that most people say. Well, if they're going to just keep it artificially down, why would I even want to be involved with the market? Again, I explained to him the same reason that if someone kept the price of lobster artificially down, at some point, lobster fishermen are going to stop fishing for it. Because lobster, again, I was trying to give the equivalent of what's happening with the silver market. Paper lobster, people can't eat paper lobsters. So if they were able to keep lobster down using a COMEX market like they do with other commodities, they were able to do that with lobsters, keep it down $1 a pound. At some point, the fishermen, the lobster fishermen, would stop fishing for lobster because it's not worth it to sell at $1 a pound. At some point, lobster buyers are going to demand real lobster. They can't eat the paper lobster shit. They're going to demand real lobsters, and they're going to want real lobster, not paper bullshit, or not a promise that they're going to get lobsters in the future, maybe, or that they own these many lobsters on paper. They want real. They want it now. Consumers, all right. So what do you think is going to happen to the price of lobster? And this is what I asked him. If all of a sudden you got a huge amount of buyers out there, real people hungry at restaurants wanting real lobsters, and the price of lobster is going to go up. Because why? Because all of a sudden now the demand for the real product, not the paper product, is getting in such a supply that the price has to go up because there's no real lobsters on the market. There's just paper lobsters on the market. All right, now I'm probably getting a little confusing here with my paper analogy and trying to explain it to a seafood guy, but I've used that before. And more or less what I'm saying, folks, is gold, silver, and platinum at these prices is like paying $1 a pound for a lobster. And after I explained this to the seafood salesman here, that, again, very successful seafood guy, after I explained that to him, he goes, okay, I kind of get that, And that's exactly what we're going to see with silver. Yeah, they've manipulated it down for years and years and years in these criminal, crooked paper markets that they run. But at some point, silver producers are just not going to produce enough silver to meet the demand of the real buyers, the hungry lobster eaters, which is going to be the industrial demand, because silver is absolutely used and needed in industrial demand factors, not to mention investment and other factors, all right? And the analogy, again, I use with lobsters with him, I think it sunk in pretty good because he was going to sell me a lot of his gold and silver, and he changed his mind after that. He says, you always talk me out of it. And I said, yeah, I know I do. And it's true, I've talked about it selling a few times. But I think that analogy worked really well for him. I also mentioned to him that if, say, for example, investors, people don't invest in lobster because lobsters die, unless you get frozen lobsters or something like that. Lobsters die. You can't keep them indefinitely, more or less. They do spoil or go bad or die, okay? But I told him, I said, and think about, too, if of all these people that own lobsters out there were taking a look at the price of how cheap lobster was at $1 a pound, it's a buyer's market, not a seller. You think that sellers are going to sell at $1? No, they're not going to sell at $1 a pound. They're going to hang on to their lobsters. So I was trying to make that reference to, investors out there that are holding on to silver. They're not going to sell at these super dirt cheap prices. They know better. And again, the wheels of industry keep turning. The demand for silver in the investment field and in the industrial field will continue to go. That is what is going to blow silver to the upside, because again, you can't eat paper lobsters. You can't melt silver paper into electronics or into investment bars. That's just the fact of the matter here is. So have no fear, folks. What we've been looking at for decades and decades with silver is really a buyer's market, not a seller's market, an opportunity to buy these things continually on the cheap, the physical, not the paper bullshit. So I look at these prices, buy the dips. And if you're already bought in, relax. At some point, you're going to wake up and have your oh shit moment. Oh shit, look at the price of silver. And the reason that's going to happen is because they're going to completely, not only have they screwed these markets up for decades by what they've done, they're going to completely, they're going to screw themselves. And that's exactly how this is going to play out. And that's going to be done through the drain in the physical markets by investors and industrial use. Let's see, what else am I going to say? Not too much to say. Again, I think these prices are bargain basement levels at these numbers. And not only that, premiums are down substantially. Not much has changed for the last 2 weeks in premiums. Prices are, premiums are still about the same. But it's it's really good if you are a buyer or you are still stacking out there, that you can buy gold, silver, and platinum on the cheap right now, and with these prices that are dipped down. Could they dip lower? Very well possible. I don't think anything's impossible in these crooked ass paper markets, but no less, I said take advantage of the dips, buy when you can. If you're already bought and relaxed, you will have your oh shit wake up morning one day when you look at the price of silver and go, oh crap, here we go. And we haven't had it yet. We've had I don't even want to say any fakies, because all we've seen here in the last couple of years is that run down $5, that run up $5, that run down $5, that run up $5. But again, they are totally destroying the real price discovery process, which is supply and demand. That is the price discovery process in the long run. In the short run, in the manipulative paper markets, the paper market, the paper rules. But in the real world, physical will rule, and again, because of industry and investment demand. At least that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Real quick, let's do. I wanted to get into ratios here real quick, and let me do a quick ratio, silver to gold ratio, and see where we're at today. Give me 1 second here. 1,868.28 divided by 22.3.
The answer is approximately 83.7793.
Wow, we're almost up to 84.1, 84 to 1 on the gold to silver ratio, which is getting up to the high side again. We were back below that 80 mark for a little bit here, with silver up in that $24, $23 range, but again, backed off a little bit. So really interesting here. What do ratios have to do with anything? Probably not much, actually, unless you look at the historic ratios here. If you take a look at the gold to silver ratio going back to 1968, all the highs in silver and gold, basically, but the highs in silver and gold were these markets disconnected from the paper markets. Say, for example, let's take a look at here. This is when gold and silver are kind of disconnected from the paper markets, and forcibly by the Hunt brothers in 1979 with the price of silver. But take a look at that silver to gold ratio, 15 to 1. All right, that's probably closer to what silver and gold really should be if it's not manipulated, and it is. And take a look at this right here. There's another low, 31 to 1, but we've never quite seen that 15 to 1 low as of yet since 1981. But I still think we're going to see it in the mother of all gold and silver runs. I believe that we're going to see a 20 to 1 ratio, or getting near that point. But as of yet, not quite so. All right, where am I going to go from here? Again, take a look at that last market, 2011. Silver nearing that $50 mark. Gold not too far off from where it is right now. Remember, silver has hit its all-time high twice. Gold multiple times, 2 or 3 times, 3 times at least right now. Where else am I looking at? Gold charts. Take a look at this, folks. So if you ever worry about the price of gold going down and staying down and not going back up again, simply take a look at charts like this. Since the 1940s to 60s, gold has been an upward trend, onward, upward, whatever you want to call it. So you're never going to wake up in the morning and find out that your gold has gone bankrupt or has gone back to where it was 20 years ago or is worthless. It just ain't going to happen. Your dollar is a whole different story. Other markets a whole different story. And the same thing with the price of silver. Take a look at silver. That's look at that, the 1979 mark. Isn't that sweet looking? 1979, 2011, and then again, there's a high right there. So here's the 2 high points in gold. We've seen it twice. Gold's hit its all-time high twice. Still not a third time. And again, we go back to the price of gold. Look, all-time high, all-time high, all-time high. 3 all-time highs, and it looks like we're nearing a 4th one here pretty soon if we didn't get the smackdown we were seeing right now. But it's going to happen. Gold's going to hit its 3rd. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hit the 4th all-time here in gold. Meanwhile, silver, sucking wind there, still has not seen its 2nd or 3rd all-time high, but we are, folks. I just look at this chart, I look at the ratios, I just feel it in my bones that at some point this market's just going to get way out of the paper market's control, or the crook's control, as I'd like to say. Meanwhile, let's talk about someone that I concur with, rather than me saying they concur with my statement, because I think he's absolutely right. Ted Butler, I hope he forgives me for sharing the first half of his article, but there's nothing proprietary in this first couple or 3 or 4 paragraphs I'm going to share with you. Just information that we've talked about continually for 3 years and that Ted Butler has been talking about for decades right now. Newest newsletter by Ted Butler, and again, hope he doesn't mind me sharing this with him. If you are a silver and gold dealer out there, especially silver, I highly recommend that you subscribe to Ted Butler's newsletter on silver. If you are a big player in silver and own quite a bit of it, I also recommend that you subscribe to his Butler research right here. But meanwhile, let me read a little bit what he says. And again, this is, for you folks out there, Ted Butler has been in this for decades, about 1970s or something like that. I think he started as a silver trader in the pits, knows his stuff real well. Somebody I listen to, and I think that understands the crookedness of these markets better, especially in silver, better than anyone out there, really. I believe that. Gold and silver prices plunged for the week, with gold lower by $65, 3.4%, and with silver walloped for $1.30 at 5.5%. As a result of silver's sharp relative underperformance, the silver-gold ratio blew out by another full 2 points to 83.6 to 1. It has, again, I just did the math. It's 84 to 1 right now tonight. The most undervalued silver has been the gold in 3 months. Actually, this week's closing prices don't fully reflect the dramatic fall prices as measured from Thursday's early price highs. Because if you remember, we did hit some highs in gold. We were hitting that 1960 mark in gold. Silver was bumping above that $24 mark, which makes this drop even bigger if you think about it in the short term of things. That silver is up substantially, then it got knocked down. But Thursday's early price highs, the 2-day fall in prices was much more extreme. A full $100 in gold and $2.20 in silver. Now, if you guys remember when the Fed was talking last week, whether they're going to raise or lower rates, everyone was waiting for the Fed to come out. When they came out, gold and silver shot up dramatically that day, and I think the next day, only to be shot down, get the monkey hammered out of it, down again, as Ted Butler says here, almost $100 in gold and $2.20 in silver. Pure manipulative bullshit. But we'll get into that as well. You have to go back to sometime to find a bigger 2-day price plunge. Those are the price facts, plain and simple. A reasonable observer, particularly anyone invested in the sector, would wonder what sudden change in overall circumstances would account for such a price plunge, all right? Yeah, a reasonable person. I mean, most of us out there that haven't been involved with this crooked-ass market for such a long time would say that. Of course you would. And the chart guys out there and the technical people that are still trading on fundamentals in realistic markets, organic markets, would probably say that as well. What changed, all right? Absolutely true. Ted Butler points this out. But surely there would have to be some type of specific news or fundamental development to account for such dramatic price reaction. Yes, that's what organic, real markets do. There has to be some kind of fundamental develop or news to account for such price action. And as Ted Butler points out, after all, commodity prices are supposed to be determined by developments in the actual markets and not by excessive speculation in the derivative market, according to U.S. commodity law. But we all know that commodity law is a bunch of bullshit, and the people that are supposed to enforce commodity laws are a bunch of worthless fucking morons. Oh man, I said it. Sorry, there goes a bunch of viewers. Therein lies the rub, as Ted Butler points out here. There were no such developments in actual supply and demand over the last 2 days in gold and silver, as such developments would be highly visible. Besides, what kind of dramatic changes in the actual world supply and demand could possibly occur to warrant such price changes and not completely be visible to all? And you know where Ted's going with this. He says, you know where I'm going with this, and I do. You know where we're all going with this. For my seasoned veterans out there who've been listening to me for a long time, this is something we've been talking about for years. For you new guys, or for people that follow Ted Butler, or you people that follow Ted Butler know this. For you new folks out there's There's nothing organic about this market. But remember, if you don't play, you can't win. The entire markets are rigged out there. Politics are rigged. Economics are rigged. Your entire life is rigged from the day you're born. And if you don't play, you can't win. This is the importance of showing you how these games are rigged so you can win. But I digress there. The only thing responsible for the 2-day epic price swoon was a collusive and illegal activities on the part of commercials on the comics, the nerve center for price manipulation. From Ted Butler's ears to from Ted Butler's mouth to God's ears, I guess, whomever your God might be, but definitely the truth. Any halfway objective and reasonable observer armed with the barest of knowledge would see that this in an instant, making it quite sad that this continual illegal price manipulation is so tolerated and not called out by those that should know better. One big reason why the comics gold and silver price manipulation has lasted 40 years is because of too many respected analysts, and this is true, and commentators out there have taken to market structure, CO2 reports, analysis as an analytical tool without condemning. Absolutely true. Most of these guys out here, these technical analysts, these chart guys, they're either in denial, cognitive dissonance, or they just don't fucking see it. Ted Butler's absolutely correct here. Have taken market structure CO2 report and analysis as an analytical tool without condemning it for the market crime that it is at its core. I've come to believe, and I agree with Ted Butler 100%. Oh man, that phone never stops ringing. Hey, give me 1 second here. So it's not ringing here. I've come to believe that the definition of, of course it does it twice, that the definition of respected in this case is anyone who refrains from calling comics paper positioning as manipulation. It surely is. And by that same definition, Ted Butler says, I'm as far from respected as can be. Oh, well, boo-hoo. Well, Mr. Butler, I got to tell you, it's better to be respected in small, respectable circles and respected in big scumbag circles like these comics or these guys that don't understand why these markets are so rigged and don't talk about it and refuse to talk about it. And there's a lot of YouTube talking heads out there that got their heads so far up their asses that they don't see the manipulation or deny that this manipulation happens. And you know what? They're part of the problem as well. Anyway, they know who they are. Well, boo-hoo, says Ted Butler. Pardon my repetition, but damn, me too. That's what I talk about all the time, guys. I get sick of talking about manipulation sometimes, but I think that, you know what? I just have to keep sounding the alarm over and over and over, even if I get one guy out there to think about it and one guy to pass it on every video. It's worth it, But anyway, Ted Butler says, pardon my repetition, but silver and gold pricing is determined by the sick game of commercials, mostly banks on the comics, continuously tricking their main counterparties, the managed money technical funds, into and out of trading positions. While I don't care a bit about who is winning or losing in the very private betting game between the commercials and the managed money traders, it is not at all difficult to ascertain that this game sets prices to an extent where the word manipulation is not sufficient to measure its effect. The problem is that the private betting game not only adversely affects innocent investors not involved on the inside game on a voluntary basis, but as a result of the long-term influence of lower prices that would exist if the private betting game didn't exist. There's also a negative impact on the law of supply and demand. And the main reason there hasn't been enough investment in the resource sector for critical minerals is because the pricing mechanism has been messed up by excessive speculation and private gamesmanship on the comics and other exchanges. And as he points out here, I don't want to read too much. Saddest of all is that there exists a designated federal regulator, the CFTC, whose main mission is to root out and prevent price manipulation for the very reason that it harms the public and sends false price signals, yet sits by doing quite literally nothing in the face of silver manipulation, as obvious by the nose in your face. What do these people do all day, and what could possibly motivate them to continue their? Because they're fucking morons, Ted. They are. They're either morons or they're complicit. They're either complicit in the fraud and or morons, Ted. That's it. That's the really explanation there, sir. Okay, rant over. Me too. I didn't read anything that was real proprietary right here. I just kind of read something that I think Mr. Butler would like the whole world to know, and that's why I'm sharing it with you out there. Highly recommend, again, you subscribing to his blog here or his newsletter at Butler Research. And folks, I'm going to get into another good article here. This is by Peter Schiff in Zero Hedge, which you can read for free. The Fed can't fight what it doesn't understand. I've got mixed feelings about this. Peter Schiff often talks that the Fed doesn't understand what they're doing. And I kind of starting to really, I believe it at times, but then sometimes I think, no, they're dumb as a fox, man. Maybe they really do know what they're doing. Maybe the whole point is that they know that the currency is going to fail. They know that they're at the end stages of this fiat. They know that at some point they're going to lose their control over the dollar. Maybe this is a big reset. Maybe this is a big turn of trying to move us into a cashless society, which the Fed would love and governments would love worldwide, because all of a sudden you control a person's money, you control their entire life. But again, that's my conspiracy, and I'm sticking with it. I don't think they're that stupid. I think they know exactly what they're going to do. They want to crash the economy. They want to get everyone to become dependent on them and the government. That's my opinion. Prices don't go up, Peter says, because I thought this was important, because most people would misunderstand what inflation is. Prices don't go up because wages go up. Wages are, in fact, prices. They are just price of labor. And prices don't go up because prices go up. Wages go up and other prices go up because the federal government creates inflation. But Powell wants people to think that inflation is created by the private sector, that the Fed is just another bystander. The government wants you to believe that as well. Again, folks, I think this is all about control. I think that they've lost control of the dollar. They know it's going to go in the shitter. And I don't think they're just stupid and killing the dollar and killing the economy. I think this is purposely done, again, for the big reset. And the reset is not what most people might think it is. I believe the reset is moving us to a digital currency, a more controlled currency, eliminating cash out there. Why do you think they're hiring all these IRS agents and they want to know everything over $600 that you do in your life? Folks, they're out of money. It's the big crash. They know it. They've got to slowly kind of pull their way out of this somehow and have a escape route. And the escape route, in my opinion, is going to be digital dollars. But if we allow them and we continue to elect the freaking morons that we do year after year in the Republican and Democratic Party. Democrats seem to be a bigger morons when it comes to fiscal spending and economics. But Republicans are like one step behind them as far as I'm concerned, as far as being economically efficient or smart in any way. I'm sorry. All right. Well, anyways, Peter points out something that I believe as well, is that inflation of products, the fact that you're spending more on eggs and you're spending more on meat and cars and rent and everything else, it's not because those products are getting more expensive. It's because your money is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And why is it getting cheaper and cheaper? Because they keep printing more and more and more and more, or creating more and more and more, just like the silver paper derivative markets, folks. The more they create, the cheaper the shit gets. All right, but what do you really own at the end of the day? Not much. When you're in the paper markets, at least, and that's what currency is, backed by nothing. A piece of paper, a dollar you could wipe your ass. The beauty of a dollar versus a central bank digital currency is that when it all goes to hell, you can wipe your ass with a dollar. You won't be able to wipe your ass with a central bank digital currency. Or you might be able to warm your feet by stuffing your dollars in your boots in the wintertime, but you can't do that with a cryptocurrency, can you? Especially a central digital currency. I think that's where we're going ultimately. Speaking of that, gata.org, Swiss may vote on preventing cashless society. Gosh darn, it's nice to see that the Swiss still have a little bit of independence in their brains and a little bit of understanding of hard money and neutrality and that other stuff. At least a little bit. They've gotten worse over the years, trust me on that. But still, Swiss may vote on preventing a cashless society. Swiss citizens may get a chance to try to ensure that their economy never becomes cashless. My gosh, isn't that... Well, that's where we need to go, folks. This is what we need to do, is we need to demand that our government does not try to push us into a cashless society, refuse it, refuse to deal with it, refuse to take it, refuse to accept it, and just outright refuse it, okay? That's the only way we can win this battle, and elect people that understand this as well. Great to see that there's actually a few people in Swiss that still understand the dangers of a central authority being in control of all money. Which is what we got already, but at least in a cash society, they don't know everything you're doing, and they can't just take it all away from you because they disagree with you or think you owe them something. All right, good article again in gata.org. Highly recommend you read that. A couple other good articles, but meanwhile, I'm going to get out of there and go into Gold and silver SmackDown. This was actually the first SmackDown. It was Wednesday, I think, when I talked about this. Got SmackDown even further from where we were. We were a little bit above 1900, I think, when I did this video. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find the... where is it? Where is it? Where is the gold price? Take a look. Let's see what the gold prices were. Yeah, 1913 on Wednesday when I originally posted this, and it got monkey hammered $37 down from the high on Tuesday. Remember that? 23.49. Look at where is the look 24.64 when you really. I mean, since last Wednesday when I did this video, folks, man, just a complete. Or was this Thursday? I forget. Was this Thursday? Yeah, Gold SmackDown. No, Gold SmackDown was actually Wednesday. Sorry about that. Let me see. What was Thursday's video?
Are you buying or selling gold? Silver?
No, that was it. That was Thursday's video. So the real SmackDown really happened on Friday. Let me get into some questions. I like to answer questions here by my commenters. Nice to see you guys out there. Chris, what's up? Nice to see you commenting. Hope you and your wife are well. Let's go down the line here and blow that up a little bit. Close your eyes if you get dizzy, because I do. Holy macaroni, Sir Gil, you're first. Why does CFTC allow the manipulation with paper? I tell you why, Wildcat, because they are either morons or they're collusive in this manipulated behavior. And probably not or, it's probably an and or for most of them. Completely worthless organization the CFTC is. They go to hell in a handbag for all I care. Worthless. Hey, I got a question. I'm from Quebec. Hey, I like that. Hey, eh, is that eh? Eh. I think that's a for a Canadian A. Got a question. I'm from Quebec City, Canada. I've been watching Low Precious Metal Tuber and I'm wondering if we're in a good position in Canada where we begin the worst come. Oh, man. You guys are fucked more than we are. I'm sorry to say that. There goes the rest of my view count on my video with my F words. Sorry about that. But yeah, you guys are worse off than we are. That's for sure. I mean, I thought we had a pretty horrible president. We do have a horrible president. I mean, you guys on par with ours pretty much, in my opinion. But yeah, these socialists slash Marxists slash whatever the frick they are, crony crooks they are. All our countries are screwed out there, Sir Gil. Thanks for commenting. Appreciate that. Didn't mean to sound so pessimistic. Keep stacking, my friend. John Schroeder says when you buy 100-ounce bars, next day it drops. That sucks, dude. But trust me, I was about to sell a large amount of gold at 1960. All of a sudden, I said, I'll wait tomorrow. It'll still be up. Man, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm no better at guessing it. No one is out there, man. If anyone, they'd make a large leverage spray and buy an island somewhere. So yeah, I get hammered too. I get the monkey snot hammered out of me as well. Matteo Official says bought 2 rolls. But overall, in the long term, I don't go wrong. I keep a position, maintain that position, try to strengthen that position. And year after year after year, I've continually done well, even through the bubble markets or the highs that we've seen and the lows that we've seen. I've done very well with it. 2 rolls of American Silver Eagles at $620 each. What does that come out to? Let's see here. $31 a coin. That's not too bad, but still too expensive, With silver at, I think at the time when I did this video, what did I say? It was $24 or something like that. Hang on. Let's say $23.50. I don't know, man. It's still too high, dude. I mean, I don't like Silver Eagles at these prices. I mean, even at silver at $23.50 an ounce, that's like a $7.50 an ounce premium. You can buy 1 ounce rounds for spot plus $2.85, which is less than half of that premium. 100 ounces, you save $300 or $400. Yeah, Matteo. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Silver Eagles at all. They are pretty though. I got to admit, do love the product. Do love my country. Do love my American coins, but just don't like the premiums. And we're selling Bullion goes for 27. Some good comments out there. Thanks, guys. Don Frias says Seagull soon to be. I have only one word. Silver in my hand. I'm not selling for nothing outside of a life-saving event. Gold and silver will crash. In my opinion, crash to unload the paper. Then if you have it in hand, to the moon, Alice. Don's kind of feeling like we're going to see. I said that before many times in the past as well, that I felt that we could see gold and silver prices crash. If we see one of those giant economy crashes like we did in 2008, it's going to take everything with it, including the paper derivative prices. But you won't be able to buy gold and silver at those levels. It'll have huge premiums on it, and availability will just go to zip. And You know, 2008 when the silver dropped from like $20 or whatever to high teens or something down to like sub 10. There was no silver available. Premiums were as much as the silver price itself, $9 and $10 for silver eagles, and we saw that not too long ago. Again, I think if we see a crash in the paper markets, you won't be able to buy silver at that level. You really won't. Not real physical silver. Silverliner says, "Hey Brian, what do you think of CBD?" Well, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I think. Silverliner, you just heard me. Rob F, what's up? Christopher McCormick says gold is the only thing keeping us out of the digital slaughterhouse. Yeah, I think overall that's folks, it's about wealth preservation. If you own gold and silver and platinum, even if you bought it at a higher level, you have to pat yourself on the back. It's all about keeping it. You know, sometimes it's easier to make it than it is to keep it, and I know some of you folks out there, it's hard to make it, and that makes your desire to keep it even that much more. If it's hard to make, you should be even working harder to keep it. All right, and that's what gold and silver and platinum does, keeps it. You didn't trust your coin yesterday. Yeah, well, you know, Tim, the coin has a 50-50 chance of being right, I think, and so do I. I think we all do. The anxious stackers have been holding off and making order to see a good dip. I can get a good few $100 more. I'll break my emergency fund and spend too. Do you see 1820 spot happening at all? I don't think it's impossible. I don't even want to guess. Again, these markets are not organic. If they were organic markets by real fundamentals, I would take a shot at it, but they're not. They're controlled and manipulated by these huge banks that can do whatever they want whenever they want. Charts are completely useless. Technicals are completely useless in a crooked marketplace, and that's what we got going here. But again, who's going to complain about buying lobster for $1 a pound? Yeah, I agree. Cryptos are roosts. Cryptos are a big one on the internet. It's a highway that you want to control. It's a highway. Yep, a lot of truth to that, man. Because you got to get it in and out of the system, and there's a record of all that as well. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I don't like my money having to rely on electricity. You know, even gold and silver. If there was no electricity, no internet, word would get around that. Yeah, that stuff's worth something. All right, anyway. Paul Wilson, it would be good to see when the central banks bought metals. Bet it was after the drop. Tough to say, Paul. I think they've been buying all along. We stack gold. I agree. These people are masters of manipulation, but I must say I'd rather see it go low so I can buy more. Yeah, my sentiment and the sentiments of a lot of other people out there, except for folks that don't have that luxury to wait or they're in a forced position to sell. This just plain sucks. Low prices suck. But for folks that are stacking and don't mind waiting or waiting for their oh shit morning, yeah, I think these are great opportunities just to keep stacking more gold and silver. Paul Wilson says the Chinese and other non-ones trading their U.S. Treasury bonds and buying gold with it. What does that tell people? Well, again, do as I say, not as I do. That's what central banks and politicians have done for centuries, all right? And that's what they're still doing. Don't buy gold and silver and platinum. Don't buy hard assets, folks. Just buy into our paper bullshit. That's what they say. But meanwhile, what are they buying? Gold, right? I've been saying that for 3 years now. Longer than that. I've been saying 3 years on my videos here. Joe McDonald should get a college coach for watching you. No, man, I ain't that smart, dude. I'm just good at throwing a few F words out there and repeating the obvious. It's oh yeah, I did pronounce Shubanak Adina. Oh, it's a female groundhog. That I did not know either. Wayne says, Brian, something very interesting happened overnight. Yeah, 30-day inversion. 30-year inversion blew out to 103.1 bullet points as of 4:30. There's all kinds of strange stuff going on out there, Wayne. Can't argue with that at all. Scary stuff too. And again, a great reason to own gold and silver and platinum as wealth preservation. Not about getting rich quick. Not about a double up, a triple up. But we will have our oh shit morning. It's about preserving wealth, and that's what gold and silver does best. My thoughts on the Chinese spy balloon, my thoughts are just a bunch of bullshit to divert your attention away from Russia kicking the ass of the Ukrainians out there despite the weapons and despite us fueling this war. They don't want you to know that. That's my opinion. It's just a distraction from the really bad shit happening over Ukraine that we helped create. Philip Stanton, great show as always. I like Stag 9 because of the divisible. Yeah, I gotta admit the divisibility of 90% is really cool. You can get it down to the little 10-cent increments. And what is that? A dime is what .0. Hold on, a dollar is 0.07 ounces of silver in a dime. I think, isn't it? 0.07. Is that right? Yeah, 0.77 in a dollar's worth. So 0.07. 7 in a dime. That's a very small increment if you think about it. You know, you can buy a silver dime for $2. Pretty cool, and no sales tax. Joey from Seattle says silver and gold experienced major spoofing this morning. Right on time. Yeah, Again, the CFTC, the governing, the regulatory agency for gold, silver, and platinum in the commodities markets, they're crooked and they're stupid. All right. Again, I'm just tired of talking about it. Walter Paul says brought up the context of how fiat currency enables governments to pursue economically stupid policies. A quote from Frederick Hayek says, "We used to worry about problems, now we worry about solutions." I hope this entices you to watch a YouTube video of. If I get a chance, I'll go back over and take a look at that, Walter. Really appreciate your opinion there and your comments too. Very astute comments. Walter Paul says the monkeys are hammering extra hard right now. Yeah, they are. They were. Sah Habib says just bought 3,000 ounce bars at $22. That's a damn good price for 22. Oh, how the hell did you get 20? Oh, okay, you bought them from a private seller. That makes sense because they are hard to sell. One thing about 1,000 ounce bars is that shipping is really tough. Shipping and insurance is a pain. Legend Bodywork says they don't want you to buy gold, so you can be a slave gold hedges against inflation. The government, that is the fear of you getting a smart gold is a gold standard point. Yep, can't argue with that at all. Good to buy. Again, wealth preservation, Legend. Really appreciate your comment there. Man, John, you're pretty ballsy. You're doing some trading here, weekly, day trading, or whatever, weekly trading. 25% of silver goes 24 next week, 25%. Are you going to buy back in, or you just out for good? You cashing out at these high prices? I'm curious. Conrad says plastic is organic. Absolutely. Chris Dutcher, haven't heard from you in a little while. Hope you and your wife are doing really well. Hope everything's going good with you guys. Thanks for commenting. After all these years depressed survey, I come to the conclusion that nothing can be done about comics until comics is dead. They're not going to die. Again, it's Chris, like I said, and Ted Butler says, it's going to blow up in their faces. They're going to have real silver at some point to supply industry demand and manufacturing industry demand and investment demand. At some point, again, they're going to destroy these markets on their own. Oh, I feel like a broken record. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, folks. And if you see the little bell up there, it'll let you know when my new videos come up. Thanks for watching. I think that's really about it. I'm going to call it quits, and let's see what happens tomorrow. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're buying gold, silver, and platinum, anywhere from $1 worth to millions of dollars worth, come by and see us. We're open 10 to 4, Mondays through Fridays. Small, tiny place. You wonder how we could do such a large amount of business, but we do. And one of the reasons I can keep my prices low and beat APMEX, SDJM, and the locals is just because of that. My expenses are fairly low, and that's not bullshit. I learned that from my buddy Bob Leslie a long time ago. Keep your expenses low and remain competitive, and that's what I do. Hey, again, thanks for watching, and Lakeland Collectorama Show coming up next week, February 16th to 18th. If you're anywhere near Lakeland, if you live in Tampa, Orlando, anywhere within a couple hours of Lakeland, certainly a worthwhile show to come to. You'll find gold, silver, and platinum products, coins, precious metals, jewelry, collectibles, all kinds of cool stuff. And I'll be there myself on the 16th to the 18th. If you want free tickets to get in, I think they're like $3 or $5 at the door. Go to thecollectoramashow.com and click to get your free ticket there and get free entry for you and the family. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm going to call it quits. I'll talk to you tomorrow, and I'll try to do one of my little Sony live videos, this time with sound. So thanks again for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.